Hi everybody, I'm Talia Barreto and welcome to my first ever YouTube video. I am a freshman at my university and I'm majoring in broadcast journalism, so I thought it was pretty fitting that I start a YouTube channel now. I plan on growing my channel into being a beauty, fashion, and lifestyle channel, and for my first ever video I wanted to do a everyday makeup routine, so stick around and watch that. So my first step whenever I do any makeup routine is wash my face, tone it, and then of course use moisturizer, and then my next step is to prime it. So I'm going to go in with my Origins Original Skin Primer. It's really cooling, so it's really like light on your skin and doesn't dry, sticky, or heavy or anything, so I really like using it. I just use a little bit and then rub it into my skin. Okay, and then after my skin is primed, I don't usually do my neck because I don't put makeup on my neck. After I've primed my skin, my next step is eyebrows. I have pretty thick eyebrows to begin with, so I don't really fill in my eyebrows as much as a lot of people do. I just kind of fill in my ends, and then I'll like make sure they all look like consistent all the way through and that they're not too dark on one end. But I'll draw a line from the tip of my eyebrow, like where it starts, all the way to the back of it, just like pretty lightly, and then I'll do the same thing on the top, and I just fill in the end. And then I do the same thing to the other side. So then once my eyebrows are even and my skin is primed, I go into foundation. So the foundation that I'm using right now, just because it's like the one that's my skin color, I kind of switch up my foundation a lot, but the one I'm using right now is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation. So I just put a little bit on my like wrist or my arm, my hand, and I'll just like dot it all around my skin. And my skin, I do break out a lot right now. My skin is just like a bunch of acne scars, so I like a full coverage foundation because I like as much coverage as I can get on my skin. And then to blend out my foundation, I take this Morphe M439 brush. It's just a foundation brush. And to make sure that my makeup like stays on my face all day, I like when my makeup is set with like toner throughout my process of doing my makeup. So I'll spray my brush with like rose toner of any kind. This is just like the Garnier Skin Active one. And then I just rub it out. So when you do that, it does kind of like not dull the product, but like thin out the product, so it gives you a little bit less coverage. So sometimes I'll go in with 2 pumps instead of 1, just to make sure that my skin is fully covered. Okay. And then once my foundation is blended in all the way, it's time for concealer. So for my concealer, I use Born This Way concealer, and my shade is Warm Beige, and I just apply it under my eyes and kind of like in my T-zone. I like it on my forehead and my chin and stuff. So I do use a lot of concealer just because I do have, like I said, acne scars and under eye bags, so I like to kind of cake on the concealer even though I don't use that much foundation. I don't know. And then I blend it with my beauty blender, and again I wet my beauty blender with this rose toner. So once my concealer is blended in all the way, I think it's blended in all the way, I usually do bake my face. So I bake my face because I think I have like a really oily T-zone, and I know a lot of girls just like set their face and that's like all they do, but for me, because I have like a really oily T-zone, just like oily skin in general, I like to use a little bit more product. I do use the Laura Mercier translucent powder, but this is actually mixed with RMCA powder because RCMA powder, this one, yeah, RCMA powder, the original no color powder, because I was running out, and so I just put some in this container and mix them together. And then I just take it and kind of press it under my under eyes where I just put the concealer. I also always like to put some on my nose because my nose does get oily throughout the day. So I put some there, and then I'll take just a regular like powder brush and take some excess powder that's in the cap or whatever and set the rest of my face with it so that I can go in with powder products and it won't get like super clumpy. Okay, so once my face is set, I go into bronzer. For bronzer, I switch it up a lot. So the 3 bronzers that I usually use are the NARS Laguna bronzer. This is like the little set where you get the Laguna bronzer and also a little blush. And I also use the Marc Jacobs Tantastic bronzer. I use this one a lot. This one's like one of my favorites. And I also sometimes rotate between the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, and I'm in the shade Medium Deep Matte Bronzer. So today I'm just going to go in with the Marc Jacobs Tantastic because it's kind of my go-to on a day-to-day basis. So after I apply bronzer, I like to set underneath my bronzer to make sure that I get like a sharp line. So I put a little bit extra powder under where I put my bronzer. And then while I let that sit, I start doing my eyes. So for eyes, I prime them with pretty much just any primer works. I'll like rotate through primers, but this is the Lancome La Base primer. And I know it's in the shade Nude. And I just put it all over my eyelids. Okay, on a day-to-day basis, I like to keep my eyeshadow super simple. Sometimes I'll even just like run a little bit of bronzer on my eyelids, especially if I'm like in a rush. But today I'm going to use my Urban Decay The Naked One palette and just keep it super simple. So I'll take the shade Naked, which is like one of the lightest brown shades right here. And I'm just going to use an all-over brush from Sigma. And I just take Naked and apply it all over my eyelids. So once I have done that, I will take a more angled brush and a darker shade. So I'll go in with like Buck and a little bit of Dark Horse. So Buck is the shade right here and Dark Horse is right here. And I'll just kind of mix them and put them into my outer corner. Okay, so once those two darker colors are mixed, I will take a blending brush. This is just the Sigma Tapered Blending Brush E40, and I will just kind of go along the edges of where I just drew in my outer corners. Once that's blended in, I usually kind of just stop there. Sometimes I'll add a little bit of a shimmer, so I'm just going to take a little like flat shading brush, and I'm going to go in with Sidecar, which is one of my favorite colors ever. I'll just take it and apply it to the That's usually all I do on most regular days for makeup. After I do my eyeshadows, I like to go in with just a plain black eyeliner and draw a super thin line on the top of my eyelid where my eyelashes are. Okay, so this was just a black eyeliner from Maybelline. It was the Master Precise and just regular black. And then I go into eyelashes. So for my eyelashes, I like to curl them, and then sometimes I'll go in with the Cils Booster from Lancome, which just like boosts your eyelashes and you apply it before you put on your mascara. So I'm going to do it today to show you, but I don't always do that. So first I curl my eyelashes, and then I apply a little bit of the Cils Booster to just like the top of my eyelashes. I think by applying this, it makes your eyelashes like look even longer and fuller, so I love doing that before I put on mascara. And then I just go in with the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. And then I do the same thing to the other eye, hopefully this time with a little bit less of a mess. Okay, so once my mascara is done, I wipe away the excess powder that I have left on my face. Once the powder is wiped away, I will go in with a little bit of highlight. I don't wear highlight on my cheeks or my high points of my face just because I don't personally like the texture of my face, so I don't want to accentuate it with putting on highlighter, but I do put it on the arches of my eyebrows because I think that looks really pretty. So I'm just taking a little bit of this champagne, or this is Opal I think, Opal highlighter from Becca, and I apply it to the highest points of my arches. Once that is done, I will go in with some clear brow gel. This is just clear brow gel from Anastasia. Finally, getting into the end of the video, I put on some bottom mascara. After bottom mascara is on, I will put on some black eyeliner on my waterline. I always do this, and I've been doing this since I was like a little girl, just because I think it makes my eyes look like pop a little bit more because I have pretty big, just like brown eyes, so when I put them on, it kind of makes my eyes look a little bit skinnier. And then the final step to my everyday makeup routine is just to set it. So I go in with this Hangover 3-in-1 replenishing primer and setting spray, and I'll just spray it all over my face and let it dry, and then I'm done. So thank you for watching my first ever YouTube video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram. I'll link it down below. Also, I would like to give a shout out to my beautiful, amazing, awesome roommate who helped me film and edit this video. I will leave her stuff down below too in case you want to hire her because she's a film prod. So you should probably do that. Thank you. Should I?
You can choose.
Yeah, I probably.
Cute. That was really cute. Alright, ready to cut?
Yeah.